Yo, what's up? Sight! The historical annals. Annals. I think it's annals. I'm still trying to figure out. Dude, my lights aren't even on. What the crap? Sorry. Slow morning, man. Slow morning. What's up, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, guys? The historical annals. We literally have two highlights in the channel of that kind of content now. It's fantastic. There will be more to come, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Oh, how you guys doing? Sag, what's up? Wick, what's up? How are you guys? Woo. Dude, I had a tough time getting out of bed this morning. I hadn't worked out in like a week and a half. I worked out last night. I'm spent, dude. I am spent. Pretty rough stuff. Okay, so. Oh, I'm good, buddy. I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. I'm worn. I feel good. I'm just, dude, completely exhausted. But ready to roll. Ready to roll, nonetheless. Um, Day 40, dude. Day 40 of Witcher 3. Day 40. So we got a little bit of Gwent left to take care of today. Basically, like two little mini rounds of Gwent to grab the last couple of cards we need for the Skellige deck in The Witcher 3. And then we go do the tournament. Yeah, we're going to go do the tournament. And then we'll press on with actual DLC quest line content. Yeah. But that's the play. That's the play. So, before we get to that, let's do what we do. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get some of this up. Yeah. Get some of this video gaming news. There we go. There we go. That's what I need. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's fix my camera too. How about that? That way you guys can see my big sleepy face this morning. Big old sleepy face. All right. Make sure we readdress that situation. Free game on Steam. We found that yesterday, but I'm bringing it back up today because it actually goes live today. So, 10 Cent buys stake in Japanese gaming firm behind Elden Ring. All right. Is this the same thing? Yeah. Let's let's read this on PC Gamer. How about that? Let's do that. We read about this yesterday. Sony is not only pivoting into PC gaming, but they're going. It looks like they've got a whole division set up for mobile gaming, and we'll see where they take it. We'll see where they go with it. I'll pull this up. We haven't talked about Windows Direct Storage in a bit. So, and I'm not super versed on what direct storage is, but if I remember correctly, okay, so what is the name of the game? Oh, dude, oh, starts with an E, I think. Lurk, buddy, lurk. You got the nay command. No, you're not lurking apparently. Um, let's see. It's not even out. It's gotten delayed twice. This is it. Forspoken. F, not E. Forspoken, right, is supposed to be the first game coming out that actually utilizes direct storage. And this is like Microsoft's new kind of technology, basically cutting out some middleman, as it were, middleman kind of processing that happens in the computing space within the game. Specifically, if I remember correctly, it allows a game to directly access like the GPU without hitting some of the other hardware in between. If I remember correctly, we'll take a look at it. But it's supposed to be a pretty nice new piece of tech, and Forspoken is supposed to be the first game coming out to utilize it. But we'll take a look at it. We haven't taken a look at what direct storage is in a while. Give everybody a good idea of maybe a new piece of tech that's coming that could be pretty huge for gaming, actually. We read about this yesterday. Facebook gaming app is no longer going to be a thing come like the end of October, yeah? Look at yesterday's news article on YouTube if you're interested. We hit on it. Um, Philips Hue makes play for PC gamers with Lightstrip and Corsair partnership. Let's see what they're coming up with here. We like lights. Lights are fun. Yeah. We've talked enough about Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal. I'm not going to dive into what this potentially is, really. Global scrutiny. We talked about that yesterday as well. Wow, that's it. So nearly 10% of all the games on Steam are now Steam Deck verified, I think is what this is saying. We'll pull this up. That's not as... There are a lot of games that are Steam Deck verified now. Understand, verified just means they're optimized for the Steam Deck, right? It doesn't mean that a game that is not verified won't play on it. Games will still play on the Steam Deck even though they're not verified. It just means they're not necessarily optimized. So there might be a little bit of wonkiness that comes along with playing them on the Steam Deck. It's only 10%. What look there? The amount of games on Steam is absolutely massive, and 10% is a huge chunk. But I figured they were probably over that at this point. We'll take a look. Ubisoft shares good news for Assassin's Creed fans. Assassin's Creed fans. We'll take a look at that. We read this article yesterday about Logitech's new gaming handheld. Um, this is in collaboration with Tencent, if I remember correctly. Looks like it's going to be running on a. We don't have a lot of official specs or hardware, anything like that. Just basically what people have gathered from some leaked info, screen images, things like that. But we read this yesterday, but it looks like it's been updated. So let's pull this up real quick and see what they updated in this article. right, PS Plus has revealed their free games for September. Let's take a look at that. Immortality is coming to Netflix games. Okay. All right, a PS Plus update finally adds new retro games. Let's take a look at this with the PlayStation Plus stuff. How about that? Ha ha ha! Check this out. Analysts are saying 40%, and this is probably roughly, right, of users in most Web3 games are bots. I don't think that's a huge surprise, really, but that's a large number. I mean, Web3 games are designed around the concept of being able to make money on those games, right? So why would people not be utilizing bots to just constantly be grinding in those types of software, uh, which are basically like play to earn, right? To just grind. Not surprised at all. Classic Metal Gear Solid games could be getting remastered. Okay. The best games of Gamescom 2022. Again, what we'll probably try to do is take a bit of a look back at some of the maybe opening night live stuff, things like that, because we missed it while I was on vacation. But they're very long. Like a lot of these Gamescom videos are roughly like 2 hours average, and we'll just have to see if we can work them into the schedule at any point. Right now, I mean, I'm really committed to trying to get through The Witcher. We want to get into playing Cult of the Lamb and get through content. So I would rather just have us take a look at some articles that kind of can recap a lot of it for us. But we'll see what we can do about maybe looking at some of the videos and stuff, the VODs. New 2D Mario game reportedly in development at Nintendo. Let's pivot here. We got a lot of articles this morning. Talked about that yesterday. Konami says it will announce a new game from a series. Let's see what's going on there. Yeah, we've already got something up about this. So it's not just Tencent, though. It is Sony and Tencent buy 30% stake in From Software. Wait, what? Someone is selling nearly every console ever made, I think, on eBay. Let's take a look at that. That's wild. Looks like Biomutant is coming to Switch. I'm probably not going to open this article, but it does say that the game could be released for the Switch next month. So if you've been looking to play Biomutant, but you haven't had the platform to play it on, but you do have a Switch, could be the time coming next month, okay? Voice of Cards series gets a new entry on Nintendo Switch. I think this is probably talking about the Logitech. Yep. We've already got an article up. Not going to read that. We've already been talking about it. We've got an updated article already up, so we'll read about it. Valve says next-gen Steam Decks are planned. I assumed so. Let's stick with this. This is a good amount of articles right here. Let's stick with this. See what we got. Let's go. Ah, love that coffee. Valve says next-gen Steam Decks are planned and may include streaming machines. The theme, size, and shape will change, a designer has said. I don't think that's a huge surprise, really. I mean, the Steam Deck being the first iteration of this platform is, I think, consensus across people that have reviewed it, got their hands on it and everything. It appears to be very, very good. But it's still the first iteration. And as with anything, what companies should be doing with any kind of product is taking a look at what could potentially be better, right? That's what you would hope anyways. So, looks like Valve is probably taking that measure, taking a look at how their first iteration of the Steam Deck, what it has done well and what maybe it has lacked on, and is trying to improve on some of those areas. And it's going to change, right? It's going to evolve. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what significant changes come with the next generation of the Steam Deck. Highly likely there will be a next gen of Steam Deck hardware, according to a long-term Valve designer. The latest issue of Weekly Famitsu magazine has an interview with a number of Valve developers to celebrate the fact that the Steam Deck can now be reserved by players in Asia. At one point in the interview, the team is asked, if Steam Deck is successful, can we expect more in the future? Quote, unless something major changes, there will be a next gen of Steam Deck products in the future. Designer Greg Coomer replied, the theme, size, and shape will change, and it might even become a streaming machine. Development of the Steam Deck will continue. One reason is that it is an extension of our core Steam platform, he said. The Steam Deck is another PC in another form, but Steam has many other uses besides the handheld device, such as on TV or on the desktop, and we will continue to work to satisfy our customers as much as possible. Elsewhere in the interview, Steam Deck developer Pierre-Loup Graffat identified battery life as one of the issues of the current Steam Deck, again, seemingly implying that improved hardware is on the way. We've already made improvements to battery life between the time of launch and now, he explained. For example, we've made it possible to play refresh rates at 40 Hz, and we're working hard to give users more control over how long their battery lasts. We're also constantly optimizing the operating system to reduce battery consumption when playing games that are not too demanding. This will improve the battery life. In any case, battery issues are at the top of our list of future improvements. When later asked for any major improvements planned, Graffat added, as I mentioned, battery life is at the top of the list of improvements. I think the current Steam Deck is moving in the right direction in terms of functionality and compatibility. Always pay close attention to feedback, as businesses should. Last week, it was noticed that a newly published Steam Deck booklet by Valve refers to future iterations of the Steam Deck, suggesting new hardware is planned. The booklet reads, in the future, Valve will follow up on this product with improvements and iterations to hardware and software, bringing new versions of Steam Deck to market. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. I think the Valve is really, Valve has dabbled in hardware stuff for years, and I think it has been very beneficial for them. They've had some really nice stuff that they've made, and I think that their experience in creating pieces of hardware has really shown through what they've been able to do in producing the Steam Deck. I was again pretty skeptical to begin with in regards to what the Steam Deck was going to offer, and again, I mean, it's still gonna take some time to tell about what the life of the product tends to be before it starts degrading a bit and things like that. But overall, I mean, this seems like a great piece of hardware, and at a pretty solid price point too. I think one of the things that I would like to see from Valve moving forward, if you're not aware, let's pull it up real quick. I mean, these are your price points, right? These are the price points for the Steam Deck, and I think some of the things that people noted, maybe a little bit of criticism, was obviously battery life, but they've addressed battery life to a great extent, and they obviously that is at the top of their list. Um, your disc size, I mean, at $400, you're getting 64 gigs. That's not very much space, and you're going to need to fork over another $130 US to get roughly 200 more gigs, a little less than 200 more gigs of space, and that's still not a huge chunk of space. We're talking about certain AAA games utilizing half that space nowadays. So, I don't know. $650, you get 512. That's better. That's still, I mean, I think one of my other things is that this doesn't come with a deck, or the dock. Um, the official dock will be sold separately. Add it to your Steam wish list to get notified when it's available to order, coming later this year. Honestly, that feels kind of bad for a platform like this, and you don't have to buy. The first platform that came out, the handheld that really utilized this kind of concept, mainstream anyways, was the Switch, right? And it just comes with, and I think that what I would like to see from Valve moving forward is that they just provide the dock as part of this setup. I think that would be a huge thing from them. But I'm not aware of like what they might be making off of the different, iterations of the Steam Deck. What does the deck cost to manufacture? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say that I think that this being incorporated with any kind of purchase of the actual console would be a huge thing for consumers. That's just my 2 cents, though. I don't know. What do I know? But more Steam Decks to come, and as I figured there would be, classic Metal Gear Solid games could be getting remasters. Rumors suggest Konami might be planning to remaster the classic Metal Gear Solid games for modern consoles. The Metal Gear franchise is one of the cornerstones of the entire gaming industry. Kojima's magnum opus has reflected storytelling and game design in numerous ways. The legendary series has gone dark since its fifth installment. Since Kojima's falling out with Konami, the IP has gone radio silent regarding new releases. There were rumblings of a Metal Gear Solid remake, but those came and went without confirmation. Seems the series may not be getting a new installment, but just a remaster for the older games in the series. Rumor was brought up by VGC with industry insider Aesthetic Gamer corroborating the rumor with additional details. It was reported that Konami would be showing up at the upcoming Tokyo Game Show. While that in and of itself shouldn't be a big deal, it was soon confirmed that the company is bringing a beloved franchise back. Um, Looks like Aesthetic Gamer is saying the plan is to release 3 remasters separately, also together as a collection, where also get the MSX versions of Metal Gear 1 and 2 if you buy them together. Uh, Again, this isn't official. Konami has been pretty vague, saying they've announced a new game from a series. Uh, I don't think, this individual is saying that they know this to be 100% true, but I think until you get something official from the developer themselves, don't put a ton of stock in it. As good as information coming from a lot of these well-known leakers, you know, quite often they're on point. I would say just wait until you get official word before you get hyped. All right, the best games of Gamescom 2022. This is the evilness that I'm talking about, you know? Literally my doppelganger right here. Let's go. Gamescom has returned to the Columnus, marking the first time the Monolithic Games event has taken place in person since 2019. The Cologne-based show offered up a ton of great games for all tastes. While we got our hands on several games behind the scenes, it's hard to expect what will wow you. Here's a list of some of NME's favorite games of the show, with the caveat that we didn't get to play everything. Using our game staff and a few freelancers, we did manage to get our hands on several of the best games you'll be playing for the rest of 2022 and 2023. So these are the games you'll want to be keeping an eye on. Ninja or Die. Developer Now Games. An intense roguelike, Ninja or Die asks you to guide a ninja through a series of mazes with the help of a single button. Your character squats in position while all traps, enemies, and other environmental hazards swirl around them. Line up your leap with an analog stick before pressing the game's singular button, which will cause you to jump, attack, and parry all at the same time. If this sounds chaotic, it's because it is. Any attempts at a methodical approach will be eroded by a tide of spikes, traps, enemies, and fireballs until suddenly you're mashing buttons and whooping in a desperate fight for survival. Our preview had hints of meta progression with a village that can be built and upgraded with villagers you find on your runs. The real pull here is the core concept: you'll ninja or you'll die. Evil West. Yeah, we know about Evil West. Flying Wild Hog. Yeah. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Dude, wasn't this one of Jim Carrey's first movies? Hold on. Yeah, I think so. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Why was I thinking he was in this? What movie was it that he was in that was kind of? Why was I thinking he was in this? It's got to be. It's some other weird movie like this. Then I guess. Huh. Wild. Okay. Anyways, my bad. My bad. Got off there. Clowns from Outer Space, the game. TerraVision Games is the developer. Publisher Good Shepherd Entertainment. Yes, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game exists. It's a 7v3 asymmetrical multiplayer spookfest that'll pitch 3 clowns against 7 humans in a desperate battle for survival. Okay, this is cool. I like this. 7v3. You know, we see one of the things that has been made so popular with the multiplayer like horror games, and it was really Dead by Daylight's the one that made the this kind of mechanic in games so very popular is the 4v1, and that has become the standard, right? You see it all the time. These horror games come out and it's always 4v1, 4v1, 4v1. Nico, what's up, my friend? How are you? So it's cool to see a developer do something different here with like a 7v3 kind of scenario, or just something a little different. Anyways, uh, Killer Clowns made by part of the creative team that developed Friday the 13th, the game. Okay, cool, yeah, which was pretty good. Honest, seems to be equally faithful to the 1988 Clown 'em Up and promises a fairly unique experience as humans try to escape being slaughtered by a team of clowns while exploring a semi-procedural map littered with a variety of references to the movie. For fans, this is the first time anyone has revisited the world since 1988. To fans of the growing asymmetrical horror genre, the addition of a few more killers into the world should set it apart from Dead by Daylight or Evil Dead the game. Lots of these games title themselves with the game. Super duper busy. Yeah. Dealing with family. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I do recall that. Yeah. Yeah, people suck, man. Yeah. People are weird. People are weird and wild, man. Yeah. 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 I wouldn't have thought about that, but yeah, you're right. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope that things are starting to turn around for you a little bit. It's really good to see you. Cassette beasts. What? So some kind of Pokemon-esque. If you chucked Persona, Zelda, and Pokemon into a blender, you'd get a broken blender. You'd also get Cassette Beasts, an incredibly promising RPG from Brighton-based Bitten Studio. Despite drawing from some heavyweight influences, Cassette Beasts is far more than the sum of its parts. And in this lavishly colorful creature collector, players must use cassettes to transform into monsters and battle other creatures. Recording your battles with a tape player allows you to transform into any of your bested beasts in future fights. By building a relationship with your battle partner, you can fuse any 2 of these beasts to create an entirely new monster. That's wild. That's all without touching on Cassette Beast's gorgeous art style and banging soundtrack. That's what I'm talking about. One major fight in the preview is accompanied by a Persona 4 style dash of poppy brilliance. Our 30 minutes with Cassette Beasts recaptured the magic of playing Pokemon for the first time, left us eager to see what the full game has in store when it launches on PC, Switch, Xbox, and Game Pass. Cool. That sounds fun. Oh, Nico, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I hope it goes well. Yeah. Bummer. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Her and your family and you guys will be in my thoughts and everything moving forward. I hope everything pans out well. I'm sorry. I know that's stressful. Uh, okay. Pentiment. Oh, this is being developed by Obsidian. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. If Pentiment's, it's really good to see you, but I am terribly sorry you've been dealing with so much stuff. If Pentiment's premise, a 16th century murder mystery that plays out across a tapestry-style world, isn't enough to get you on board, perhaps knowing that RPG master Obsidian Entertainment is at the helm will do the trick. In a hands-on preview, we molded Pentiment's playable character, their education, lifestyle, and worldly experiences, and set them loose investigating a violent murder at Kirsau Abbey. Feels like every decision made in character creation carries weight in how the plot plays out. That's cool. And in a mystery game where every clue adds up. That's vital. The hands-on also suggests that Pentiment isn't a game that you can work your way through neatly. Certain decisions are time limited. Do you attend the victim's autopsy while you have access, or crack on with chatting to suspects? Though the opening half hour of Pentiment didn't show its hand too early, a successful line of investigation hinted at a game that will let players unspool intrigue, plots, and conspiracy aplenty. Pentiment seems like a gripping drama that swaps out big screen revelations for tapestry twists, and is worth keeping an eye on ahead of its November release. Cool. Oh, we've seen Hyenas too. This looks cool. Yeah, Hyenas looks kind of wild. Yeah, Creative Assembly and Sega. Yeah, Hyenas could be something very special indeed, pitting several teams of players against each other and a space station full of AI guards in a bid to steal as much pop culture detritus is a unique concept by itself, but Hyenas seems to have a top-notch world, courtesy of the same branch of Creative Assembly that brought us Alien Isolation. Chuck into that kinetic combat that brings unique heroes with their own classes and weapons and drop them into gunfights that prioritize agility and high-skill cap movement, and you could have a game that, well, a game that I'll be terrible at, but Apex Legends players might find irresistible. Yes. Unfortunately, we haven't yet had a chance to go hands-on with Hyenas. The game is going to hinge on how good those claustrophobic space station shootouts actually feel. Yeah, so this looks pretty wild. There's like, I'll read the rest of this real quick. That and whether you can tolerate the sheer amount of 80s and 90s references, Creative Assembly has gone deep, self-referential with this one, and there will be plenty of Sega merch to pick up, in addition to the fact that you use a Sega Mega Drive as a breaching device. If that makes you grin, Hyenas is your bag. This game looks cool. Obviously, from reading that, you should be able to tell we're talking about like a live service, competitive multiplayer environment with some additional AI kind of enemies around. But they've got this real unique, like they said, it's like you're on a space station where you're fighting each other and everything, right? What's kind of wild about it as well is that you don't just fight inside the space station, you fight outside of it as well, right? So there will be times while you're fighting other players or enemies inside the space station in gravity, right? It'll be like what we normally experience. And then you can work your way outside of the space station. At least this is what we've seen. This is what it appears like so far that we've seen about the game. You work your way outside and you're in zero gravity, working your way around. You've got like grappling hooks to pull yourself around these space stations and stuff, and you're kind of floating. So it's going to put a whole different kind of spin on the way the combat works, whether you be dealing with gravity or without gravity in these different areas around the space stations and stuff. It's going to be really, really wild. Company of Heroes 3, Relic Entertainment. It's been 9 years since Company of Heroes 2 launched, and the strategy genre has changed a fair bit since then. Sega's sibling Total War went fantasy, XCOM got scrappy, and Paradox sailed to the stars with Stellaris. We've got a lot of people who've been playing Stellaris in the community here lately. Luckily, Company of Heroes 3 has kept up with the times and looks set to return with all the momentum of a charging Sherman tank. Biggest change is a new turn-based campaign map, which allows players to build defenses, organize assaults, and fight over territory on a whole new scale. This innovation sits at home with everything that strategy fans already know and love from the series. In our preview, we subjected a town on the campaign map to a brutal bombing run, which meant that when it was time to take the field in a real-time battle, there was one less capture point to bleed for. Within these battles, Company of Heroes 3 delivers on making them bigger, bolder, and bloodier than ever before. There's a savage joy to be found in landing the perfect shot to a vehicle's exposed flank, or foiling an enemy counterattack with a well-placed machine gun nest. Company of Heroes 3 is trying something new and looks good doing it. And our time with the gritty war game left us very excited for November to roll around. Gourd. Developer Covenant. And publisher Team 17. A dark fantasy strategy game, Gourd fills your quota for pus, blood, and boils before you've even pressed start. It's not for the faint of heart, to say the least. Developer Covenant was founded by the developers of CDPR, which is, what we're playing now, Witcher 3, and 11-Bit Studios. And Gourd is everything you'd expect from that marriage. The studio describes the game as a mix of Witcher 3 and RimWorld, which translates to keeping a village alive in a world filled with bloodthirsty horrors from Slavic folklore. Gourd is particularly interesting because there's so many elements being juggled at once. Players will need to send parties of villagers out to fight off threats and gather base building resources, but they will also need to contend with sanity, sickness, and worse. If you can manage all that, your villagers will thrive and even earn a helping hand from the gods. In one case, a party of villagers uses an incantation to have an overgrown frog raised into the air, subdued for a moment, before every bone in its body snapped in unflinching detail. Jeez! Started our hands-off preview skeptical that one game could juggle this many mechanics, but left feeling safe in Gourd's capable, disgusting hands. Yo, cool, man. So this was some of the, what NME found to be notable games that came out of Gamescom, okay? We were planning on actually, watching Gamescom, but I went on vacation and we didn't get to watch. We're going to recap Gamescom the best we can through articles and maybe even going back and watching some of the VODs of Gamescom. But this is some of the first stuff we've gotten to kind of read about games that got announced, or, there were some that we were already kind of aware of, like Evil West. We know about Evil West. But a lot of these other ones, man, I wasn't really aware of. And they sound really interesting. Hyenas we knew about as well. But Hyenas is really interesting too. I'm kind of psyched about that. I hope it's good. It's there in chat if you want to learn more, or just have a list of the games so you can go maybe like wish list them or keep them, a list somewhere. Cool. A new 2D Mario game reportedly in development at Nintendo. A recent report claimed that Nintendo is currently working on a new 2D Mario video game that will assumedly come to Switch in the future. Since Nintendo first became a major player in the video game industry back in the 1980s, 2D Mario games have appeared on virtually every Nintendo console. Sounds like a new entry in the series could be on the way, but it might feature some notable differences from past installments. According to a game industry insider that goes by the name Zippo, Nintendo is actively developing an all-new 2D Mario game. Although details are sparse, this report claims the entry will drop the new Super titling format that has been seen with a number of 2D Mario titles dating back to the Nintendo DS. Additionally, this game is said to be quite far along with its development, which means that Nintendo could be finishing the project quite soon. It's also claimed that the new Mario title will feature online multiplayer and will also boast an art style that may take some people by surprise. Speaking more about the release of the new Mario game, it was shared that Nintendo could opt to release it at some point in the company's 2023 or 2024 fiscal year. Assuming that this is accurate, it would clearly mean the game is going to launch on the Switch, Switch Lite, and Switch OLED platforms. While it's worth taking this report with a grain of salt, it shouldn't be much of a surprise if Nintendo does release a new 2D Mario game relatively soon. As mentioned, Mario games in this style have been released by Nintendo dating back to the days of the NES. Given that Super Mario Maker 2 launched all the way back in 2019, it would seem that we're due for a new game in this format to come about before long. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep our eyes and ears open for more news regarding the new Mario 2D game that should be coming out fairly soon. Konami says it will announce a new game from a series loved around the world. Yeah, okay, we already kind of saw this a little bit when we talked about the unofficial news about Metal Gear basically getting some remasters. I think is what they were, right? Remasters. Konami will announce a new game related to a classic series during next month's Tokyo Game Show. Publisher released its full Tokyo Game Show lineup on Wednesday, with most of the games listed being titles already known. However, its schedule of stage events is listed. It lists a 45-minute show taking place on September 16th, which is titled Konami New Release Announcement. Announced. One publishing source told VGC that the reveal is likely to be related to a smaller project rather than Konami's larger planned revivals for Castlevania, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear Solid, which VGC first reported on last year. As VGC reported earlier this year, a Silent Hill 2 remake is understood to be in active development at the Medium developer Bloober Team. Sources suggested that the game will be a time exclusive for PlayStation consoles alongside PC. Love that. Another episodic series of Silent Hill short stories are understood to be in development at a studio under Annapurna Interactive, the acclaimed publisher behind games such as Sayonara Wild Hearts, Outer Wild, and Telling Lies. I'm pretty sure Annapurna Interactive also just did Stray, right? Konami also has plans for remasters of classic Metal Gear Solid games. Now, they were the publisher of Stray. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the publisher of Stray. We were told. Sources also indicated last year that Chinese studio Virtuos was working on a new version of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Yeah. While it's possible Konami could tease all these projects at TGS, we understand it's more likely they will be shown later this year via a more globally focused event such as PlayStation State of Play or December's Game Awards. All right, well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yo, check this out. Holy crap. Look at this, guys. Someone is selling nearly every console ever made on eBay for $1 million. The collector aimed to gather 50 years worth of consoles, all models, all colors, and every possible limited edition. Look at that. Insane. Look at all these GameCubes. Look at all these GameCubes. And these Xboxes. Game Boys. DS's. 64s. More GameCubes. More 64s. NES's. Good night. Dude, that's insane. While many a collector can claim to have any number of rare video games and memorabilia, few, if any, actually own a majority of every console variation manufactured in the last 50 years. That's exactly what one France-based collector has just put up for auction. Some 2,400 different consoles, from standard issue to special editions to variations never officially for sale, for the cool asking price of roughly $1 million, right? While the current buy it now price of nearly 1 million euros might be well outside your budget, pictures and videos of the collection are more than worth a look. Check out the Sega collection. Oh my god, dude. Oh, wow. NBA Jam. Oh, let's go. Was that Aladdin? Wow. Um. Guys, what's up, buddy? Oh, my dude. What's up, brother?
Size matters. Fizz rating with 1 viewers.
What's up, man? Thanks, dude. Emote explosion. Yo, dude. How are you? Yo, thanks for the raid, buddy. Hey, how are you, Erd? Melora. Hey, thanks. Awesome. Yo, thank you very much for the follow. Hey, if you're over there in Size's channel, you got to be good peoples. That's for sure. Size, thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. And Melora, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm gonna shorten it to Erd if that's all right. Erd, welcome in. Thanks. Thanks for the follow, my friend. Appreciate it. Guys, look at this collection of consoles. That's all right? Cool. Look at this collection of consoles. You seeing this? So, Erd, I'm in the middle of doing our video gaming news segment that I do every day at the beginning of our stream. And we just came across an article. Somebody selling like 2,400, virtually like 24 like physical consoles they've been collecting since like the 90s for about $1 million US. Kind of wild. Yeah, insane. Like, look, this was their. Oh, dude, don't do that. No. This was their. This is the video of their Sega collection right here. Isn't that nut size? Yo, what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Look at this, dude. There's like NBA Jam, Aladdin. Look at these. These still have the cellophane on them and everything too, man. A lot of them do. All these Dreamcasts. Dude, it's insane. So a Google translation of the listing reveals that the individual began collecting in the early 90s. Before collecting might have been considered a thing. The road to this current mega collection was not without some back and forth, as they sold their entire 90s collection at the turn of the century. Though they kept collecting during the 2000s, it came to an end in 2011 when they stopped for lack of time and the difficulty in finding rare items. But the story doesn't end there. In 2018, they fell back into the trap of collecting after visiting Tokyo, where they acquired almost everything they sold off previously. That twist is what led them to this gargantuan collection of a majority of consoles ever made all in one place. And it is a sight to behold, as they say on their eBay auction. Do not believe it's possible to find some of these items anymore. Even if one had the financial means, they also suggest their stunning collection might be a good fit for a museum. That's great. Like, look at this. Look at this picture. Look at all these different GameCubes. All these Xboxes. And like Game Boys, 64s, regular Nintendo. It's just wild, man. It's insane, huh? That's great. I had to pull it up. I mean, normally we just kind of go over like what's pertinent, new going on in the industry and stuff like that in these news segments. But man, whenever I see stuff like this, because I collect an amount of like things from my youth and everything as far as video games and everything. Seeing stuff like this is just absolutely incredible. So I have to take a look at it from time to time. Okay. Here you go. Card game size. Here you go. Voice of Cards series gets a new entry on Nintendo Switch this month. Don't let its flat presentation fool you. My collection is better, only one game. I came home. I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Size. I came home from I went on vacation. I came home from my parents' house with some of my old computer stuff, old computer game stuff. It's pretty wild. Yeah, let's see what this is. So Voice of Cards series gets a new entry on the Switch this month. What you need to know, Voice of Cards is a series of turn-based RPGs directed by Yoko Taro and published by Square Enix. The game's entire world consists of cards, including characters and landscapes. The turn-based battles take place in card format as well, accompanied by dice. Square Enix announced that the third game in the series, Voice of Cards, The Beast of Burden, will release on Switch on September 13th of this year. Tabletop video game fans were given a treat with the original voice of cards, The Isle Dragon Roars, directed by Taro and published by Square Enix. The game is almost entirely composed of cards, with the player piece traveling across vast card landscapes and interacting with NPCs beautifully illustrated on cards. The game quickly revealed a sequel after only 3 months with Voice of Cards, The Forsaken Maiden, releasing in February 2022. While there were no huge quality of life improvements, it offered a thrilling new story and an all-new battle mechanic. Square Enix announced today that another sequel is in the works on their Twitter account. The new game, Voice of Cards, The Beast of Burden, is an all-new game with a new story. The narrative surrounds a young girl who has spent her entire life underground, never having encountered the surface, or worse, the beasts that inhabit it. Humans and monsters have been at war for years, and it's up to you to get rid of the 3 primal beasts once and for all. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars takes you on a surprisingly immersive journey through vast lands with witty companions to accompany you. If you enjoy tabletop card RPGs but hate setting them up, this game is perfect for you. So it doesn't look like it's going to be like a PvP competitive kind of scenario, but card games are fun nonetheless, especially if they're done very well. So, I don't know. Here, I'll throw it in chat. You guys take a look. Infinity Wars Classic. Really? Here, let me see this. Oh, it's actually is it on Steam? Oh yeah, right here. Not yet out. Yeah. It's saying. Wait. This says September 5th of 2014. Hold on. Yeah. I think this has been out for quite some time, man. It looks that way, anyways. Here, take a look, buddy. There's that, and I'll link you the Steam page as well. Let me know what you think about it if you try it out. There's 2 versions. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I looked at classic because that's what you. Well, that's what this says. Infinity Wars Classic right here. Well, I don't know what I need to be looking for then, I guess. Same thing, dude. Literally the page I was just on Steam. See? Same exact video, same exact release date. Like, that's the link that you just gave me. It's the same thing that I was just on Steam, so. What do you mean, it's different? I don't know. You'd have to give me a link or something, man, because this is just a link to Infinity Wars Classic. So this is what I'm seeing from. It's just a. All I'm seeing is a free to play date announcement. I don't know. Even the link you gave me is saying release date of September 5th, 2014. This isn't showing me anything different from what. I'm not saying you're wrong. This just isn't giving me any kind of information here. So if you come across, yeah, if you come across any information, let me know and I'll look into it. We'll bring it up and take a look at it. But that's just there's nothing there for us right now. So what is Windows Direct Storage? Does it make your gaming experience better? So again, Direct Storage, if you're not aware, is Microsoft's kind of new tech that is supposed to make your gaming experience a little bit more efficient, more fluid. It bypasses some like middleman kind of hardware, computing kind of stuff, processing, to where it's able to directly access your GPU for a lot of the graphical input and everything that the games require. And it's supposed to be first being utilized by the game Forspoken, which was supposed to release earlier this year, and then got delayed till October, and now has been delayed till early 2023. So, we haven't talked about it in a while. Let's take a look. Since the early days of gaming, loading times on games have been a major problem. Whether you are stuck on the loading screen or the game's assets do not load in, we can agree that it's not an enjoyable experience. But with the release of Microsoft's latest technology, Direct Storage, all this goes away. Direct Storage is Microsoft's newest SDK that coordinates with your storage device to achieve blazing fast speeds. Not only will the games load fast, but the gameplay is also smooth because the textures and other assets also load faster. Sounds awesome, right? What is Direct Storage? On the surface, Direct Storage is an API for DirectX 12 run devices that takes advantage of faster storage devices to promote faster loading times in games. This is achieved because the game assets load directly to the GPU from the drive. It has already been introduced to other Microsoft devices like the Xbox Series X and One, and it is recently launched for Windows PC. Game developers benefit from this since now they can make use of faster drives to decrease game loading times and smoothen game performance. They no longer have to work with older APIs which did not support the faster storage options. As of now, Direct Storage supports systems with either Windows 10 or 11, and it also requires an NVMe drive alongside a GPU with DirectX 12 capabilities. However, Microsoft recommends Windows 11, which has better storage optimization features. Pros and cons. Faster game load times. These are pros. Optimal use of storage devices read-write speed, and eliminate input-output request bottlenecks. Cons. Requires a faster NVMe drive, preferably running on PCIe 4.0. Graphics card compatibility with DirectX 12 is needed. Not many games support it as of yet. Right. Again, the first game coming out that's supposed to utilize it on PC is Forspoken. Forspoken? Forsake? It's Forspoken, right? Then, to know how DirectX storage works, we have to figure out how the game's assets are loaded in. Traditionally, the way it's done, first the game files are read by the CPU from the storage device. Then it is transferred to the system RAM, right? Random access memory. Then it is once more transferred to the CPU, and then finally to the GPU, right? So we're talking like game files are read from storage by your CPU, right? And this is basically the same way it works on console as well, okay? So a console is, while a gaming platform, it is virtually got the same hardware in it as a computer does. It's just not run and operated the same way, right? Same kind of software and stuff. So the CPU reads the game files, transfers it to the your random access memory, your RAM, and then again, it's transferred to the CPU, right? Back and forth here, and then it goes to the your GPU, right? So basically, like I said, it just cuts out a lot of the processes that had traditionally been a part of this computing process, the traditional computing process for a lot of software, and especially games, because games are very graphic intensive quite often, right? To where basically your files and everything, everything that's on your storage device for the game, whatever you're running, it's just everything that's needed to be read and used graphically is just used straight through your GPU between your storage. This goes into more detail about, requirements, how to set it up, if you do meet the requirements, things like that. So if you want to take a look, there you go. We've known about direct storage for a while. It's just kind of slowly being run out here for us, and especially in the PC realm, games aren't really being built to utilize this piece of technology yet. Again, I think the first game, we were supposed to already have the first game Forspoken. It was supposed to come out in October as the first delay, and now second time it's been delayed is for early next year. So we'll see if in theory, this seems like a very, very good piece of technology, right? We'll have to see how it actually works. Philips Hue makes play for PC gamers with Lightstrip and Corsair partnership. No. Philips Hue made multiple announcements at technology show IFA in Berlin, including software updates, more partnerships, and a new product for PC gamers. The company revealed that Philips Play Gradient Lightstrip for PC, which offers the same design as the TV version, but is designed specifically for PC monitors. Okay. Like the TV version, the Play Gradient Lightstrip for PC attaches to the back of your monitor with the included mounts, creating a halo effect when a monitor is placed near a wall. Designed to create an immersive gaming experience, the Play Gradient Lightstrip for PC will flash, dance, dim, and brighten in tune with on-screen action when used with the Philips Hue Sync app for PC. Philips also announced a partnership with Corsair, which will see users being able to use the Corsair IQ app to set scenes on Philips Hue lights in your room or gaming space and have them synchronized with your Corsair RGB gaming peripherals. The Lightstrip, Gradient Lightstrip by Philips for PC will be available in the UK around 13 September, starting at roughly £130. Okay. I'll throw this in chat too if you're interested. Nearly 10% of all games on Steam are now Steam Deck compatible. Again, yeah, like what I was saying before when we pulled this article up, 10% does not seem like a whole lot when you just look at 10%. But that is over probably 5,000 verified, optimized games for the Steam Deck. That's what games being Steam Deck verified means, right? So that's a lot. I figured it would be over 10% at this point, but that's still a significant amount of games. It doesn't mean that other games that are not verified will not play on your Steam Deck, but they just might have a little bit of wonkiness to them, right? Valve hit a new milestone for the Steam Deck this week, revealing that it just passed 5,000 games that are verified and playable for its portable gaming handheld. Not bad, considering the Steam catalog has just over 50,000 games at the last count in 2021. Games must pass 4 categories to be considered verified and receive that precious green check mark. The 4 boxes that need to be checked are input, display, seamlessness, and system support. If a game hits anything less but can still be played with some caveats, then it's just considered playable. Yeah, again, playable could result in a little bit of wonkiness, but it's playable. 5,000 is a pretty impressive number to hit, considering the vast number of games on Steam. As more Steam Decks are getting shipped out, Valve has made it a point to have more Steam games become verified or playable, especially previously unsupported games. Yep. And we talked about the last paragraph previously. It's just about more iterations of the Steam Deck are in the works. Ubisoft shares good news for Assassin's Creed fans. Ubisoft has some good news for those who are still playing some of their older but most classic games, particularly Assassin's Creed lovers. One of the downsides of modern gaming is that almost all games have some kind of online functionality. Some of it is just leaderboards, some of it is a special mechanic, but some have online modes. In the late 2000s and early 2010s, there was a major push for some of the biggest franchises to implement multiplayer modes. This is how we ended up with single-player games like Assassin's Creed getting PvP modes with unique progression systems and whatnot. Still, Assassin's Creed found a unique angle and tried its best to make it work, creating some fans along the way. Previously, Ubisoft announced that a number of its online games from the Xbox 360 era were going to have their servers shut down on September 1st. This bummed some fans out, but Ubisoft has decided to keep the lights on a bit longer. Assassin's Creed 2, Liberation HD, Far Cry 3, Splinter Cell, Blacklist, and a number of other games will have operational servers until October 1st, allowing players an extra month to play them. This means you will have time to experience their online modes or clean up any multiplayer achievements you may be missing. After that, it will all be shut down, much to the dismay of fans. PC players with any single-player DLC will also need to activate them before October 1st, but console players do not need to do anything else. You can view the list of games affected below. Sadly, this is the nature of modern gaming. All good things must come to an end, but at least a few of these titles have been remastered, and those versions won't be impacted. Anyone enjoying the online functionalities of these titles through backward compatibility will unfortunately not be able to do so after October 1st. We already had hit this list kind of before. I'm not going to read it again, but I'll throw it in chat. We read this article yesterday, and it's been updated. This is about the new handheld that is being developed by Logitech and Tencent. Yeah. Where's the update? Oh, they actually have stats on it now. All right, looks like this is a screenshot believed to be genuine, but some people on Twitter don't seem so sure. Grain of salt here. Getting on to almost 4 gigs of RAM. It's an Android 11 version OS. Got a Qualcomm SM7125 processor. Or system on chip. 2 Qualcomm Cryo 465 and a 6-time Qualcomm Cryo 465 CPU. Qualcomm Adreno 618 GPU. It's got an HD screen. .320 DPI. Given the relative newness of all this info, pricing details are nowhere to be found. According to all the stuff we've seen, people won't be happy with a price less than $300. We will, of course, update the page as and when we scrape up any new info. Yeah. These are the images that came out. We kind of saw these yesterday. That's all the updated info. We saw a lot of that yesterday. We read a lot of that yesterday. If you want a more deep dive into what that is, take a look at yesterday's news segment, okay? It's in there. PS Plus reveals free games for September. So, this month, Sony has today revealed free games that will be coming to PS Plus for this month. With August coming to a close yesterday, this current month's free PS5 and PS4 games on PS Plus will also soon be departing in just a few short days. Luckily, we now know what titles will be replacing August slate, and it happens to be quite a diverse lineup. Starting next week on September 6th and lasting until October 3rd, PS Plus Essential subscribers will be able to add 3 new games to their own digital library on PS5 and PS4. Headlining this month's slate is likely that of Need for Speed Heat, which is the latest installment in EA's long-running racing franchise. Joining NFS Heat is Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, a popular fighting game from XSEED Games that launched on PS4 back in 2020. Lastly, the cutesy photo adventure game Toem will be rounding out the new group of additions to PS Plus in September. Per usual, most of these new games coming to PS Plus will be available to play across both PS5 and PS4. The only caveat this time around involves Toem, which happens to be exclusive to PS5. Still, even if you don't happen to own a PS5 console, you'll still be able to add Toem to your own library and play the game in the future once you do pick up the latest PlayStation hardware. All right. If you want to actually take a look at what those games are, there's the link to that article in chat. And PS Plus update finally adds new retro games and an incredible shooter. PS Plus is receiving its first new batch of retro games since the revamped subscription service launched, alongside one of the best shooters of 2021. Among the stack of older PlayStation titles hitting PS Plus Premium this September is cult classic PS1 shooter Siphon Filter 2, PS3 platformer Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and another trio of raccoon-led platformers in the Sly Collection. This is the first time any additional PS1 or PS3 games have been added to PS Plus's retro collection, after August and July's lineups left premium subscribers out in the cold. Yeah, there was a lot of disdain and people just kind of being a bit critical of the fact that PlayStation had not been releasing any older titles for the top tier. I mean, that's what people are buying into with the premium subscription tier, is to also get access to the older games, and they just weren't releasing any of the older titles. A bunch of the newer titles will also be coming to PS Plus Extra members, including last year's standout Deathloop, developed by the same studio behind Prey and Dishonored 2. Yep, also coming to PS Plus Extra are a couple of Ubisoft games, Assassin's Creed Origins and Watch Dogs 2, will be added as part of the platform's built-in Ubisoft Plus component. The games were only recently added to Microsoft's rival Xbox Game Pass, marking a growing crossover between the subscription platforms. 3 new games will also be added for PS Plus Essential subscribers. They include 2019 racing game, yep, we just talked about these, Need for Speed Heat and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Yep. Also making their way to PS Plus for all extra and premium subscribers is paint-based adventure game Chicory, A Colorful Tale, bittersweet management sim Spiritfarer, and zany 2D platformer Rayman Legends. Here's when all the new games will be coming to each PS Plus tier this September. I'll go ahead and read these for you. PS Essential from the 6th of September till October 3rd is Need for Speed Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Toem. PS Plus Extra and Premium starting September 20th. Deathloop, Assassin's Creed Origins, Watch Dogs 2, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Spiritfarer, Chicory, Monster Energy Supercross, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, Rabbids Invasion, Rayman Legends, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. PS Plus Premium, starting September 20th. Siphon Filter 2, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, Bentley's Hack Pack, Toy Story 3, and Kingdom of Paradise. There you go. I should have thrown that in chat. Hold on. There you go. Critically acclaimed Immortality is coming to Netflix games. Yeah, this has gotten a lot of really good reviews. Immortality has. The interactive film video game from Sam Barlow is set to come to Netflix games. Immortality was released yesterday, 2 days ago now, for PC and Xbox Series X and S, but a tweet from developer Half Mermaid confirmed the title will be coming very soon to Apple and Android devices on Netflix. Taking some extra time on our mobile release to ensure that it's the best possible experience for Netflix members around the world. Netflix games is included with all Netflix subscriptions, but earlier this year it was reported that fewer than 1% of Netflix subscribers are playing the games included with the TV and film streaming service. Yeah. In a 5-star review of Immortality, NME wrote, by uncovering the mystery of Marissa Marcel through the very visual language of cinema with both intuitive and tactile controls, Immortality raises a new high bar on what's possible with video and gaming mechanics. Anchored by its cast's stellar performances, a script and production that perfectly captures the film's genres and eras depicted, this is an art house masterpiece destined for, well, immortality. Yeah. We've talked a lot about what Netflix is doing, pivoting into gaming. They have roughly, I think, 20 more games they're set to release before the end of the year, 20 to 25. This is a significant play on their part, bringing Immortality to their platform. They also, I think, what was it, Enter the Breach, was another big play on their part. We'll see how they do moving forward. They need their pivot into gaming to work well. They do. Steam making classic open world game free for limited time. I'll hit that last. FromSoft looks set to publish its own games after shared deal with Sony and Tencent. So this is pretty big news. Current owner Katakawa Corporation retains the controlling stake in From Software even after the sale. From Software parent company Katakawa Corporation has announced that it's issuing a $31.79 from new FromSoft shares to Sixjoy Hong Kong and Sony Interactive Entertainment. Sixjoy is a subsidiary brand of Tencent, whom you'll know from having a slice of seemingly every pie known to humankind, and Sony Interactive Entertainment is, well, Sony. Once the shares are issued, Sixjoy will own 16.25% of FromSoft and Sony 14.09%. Katakawa Corporation will remain the controller and majority owner of the company by a wide margin. It owns the full 69.66% of remaining shares. A slight increase in share amount for two companies, even if they are Tencent and Sony, that confers no extra power or rights, may not seem enormously interesting, but it's not necessarily the shares that are important here. Katakawa and FromSoft are acquiring, what is it? 36 billion, almost 36,400,000,000 yen, roughly a little over 260 million US dollars off the back of this deal, which they intend to put to good use. In the release announcing the share allotment, Katakawa says the reason for the share sale is to use the funds for the expansion of the scope of FromSoft's own publishing in the significantly growing global market. In other words, the share allotment is all in service of gathering the funds FromSoft needs to start self-publishing its games across the world. FromSoft already publishes its own titles in Japan, but seeks out partners to help it publish in overseas territories. Katakawa clearly thinks FromSoft has outgrown that kind of arrangement, pointing specifically to the success of games like Sekiro and Elden Ring as reasons that FromSoft is ready to branch out and start self-publishing in countries other than Japan. Yeah, this news will be of a special interest to Bandai Namco, which has enjoyed a fruitful partnership with the developer, but crucially also has IP rights to certain FromSoft titles. The Souls series, and particularly Elden Ring, have been smash hits, and Bandai Namco will be looking at this wondering if the studio's next game will be called Aged Loop and cut it out completely. As for Sony and Tencent, all they get from this deal are the potential and significant rewards of an investment in a games company that is going from strength to strength. The number of shares they own is still far too small to give them anything like a controlling say in how either Katakawa or FromSoft do business, although it'll probably make any future discussions between the companies that little bit warmer, yeah. Regardless, despite appearances, it's still too early to file this one under the ever-expanding bracket of video game industry consolidation. Yes. That's big news, though. Yeah. All right, here's the last one. If anybody has anything to add for the news segment before I finish today, please let me know in chat and I'll address it before we move on to our gaming for the day, which is day 40 of The Witcher 3 and is day 2 of our dive into the Blood and Wine DLC, okay? We talked about these yesterday, but I'm bringing it back up because it didn't actually take place until today, right? So Steam has a game that will be free starting today, which is Mafia. The original Mafia game is free from today, but only through what? The 5th of September. So from today through the 5th, original Mafia is free on Steam. Let me bring it up. That way everybody can take a look. Or not. Wait, what? All right, this might be bad info here. Let's see if I can find this. So the definitive edition is supposed to be $14. That's what this is showing as. But this is the definitive edition, which is cheaper than the original. The original is supposed to be free right now. Huh. Well, that's weird. That's weird. So, it hasn't been updated either. It's not time yet. That's why. It doesn't go free. Fine print here, details, right? So until noon. So we're talking about like 4 more hours. In roughly 4 hours, that's when Mafia will become free on Steam, okay? So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That would be noon for us here, Central, and 6 p.m. BST. So roughly 4 hours from now, you can hop on your Steam account and get Mafia for free. Cool? That's the details we were missing right there. Cool. So don't forget to get your free game. Let me bring this up too. Let's bring this up. You've only got 2 more hours right now to grab Ring of Pain. Okay? You've only got 2 hours right now to grab Ring of Pain for free. And then you'll be able to get Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Submerged Hidden Depths for free, both of those, and a DLC pack for Knockout City. Okay? But 2 hours. You got 2 hours. Go get your free game for on Epic Ring of Pain. Yeah, cool. Cool. That's it for the news, guys. That's what I got. That's what I got. We're playing some catch up. The news segments are a bit, hitting about that hour and 45 to 2 hour mark. They're a bit long right now, but it's going to be that way for probably a few days, just because we're playing a little bit catch up due to me being away on vacation for the past week. So it's okay. Good news segments though. We're catching up, staying current, and that's what's important, man. Thank you to everybody that's part of this community in the first place, and especially to everybody that was part of the news segment today. Okay, if you're checking this VOD out on YouTube after it was live, and you're enjoying the content, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself and all the rest of the amazing people that are part of this community. When we go live at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day, and we begin all of our streams off with video gaming news, okay? If you're enjoying the content, also do me a favor and consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And I don't know, we'll see everybody tomorrow for September 2nd's edition of Video Gaming News, okay? So everybody just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind, and I'll see you tomorrow, all right?